Hey YouTube, hey everybody. I'm back. I was videotaping. I had to quit, pause it, and start all over because I had a breakthrough pain and I couldn't get it under control. And it seemed like it takes forever for the pain pills to kick in. The pain patch does its job, but when I have that breakthrough pain, it just takes a while sometimes. And truth be told, I don't know, the last time I had pain like this was when back in, was it May, you guys? March? No, March. Not May. This is already June. Yeah, March. And I had the PET scan, and the lesions on my liver had gotten bigger. I just felt like something's going on again. It's always something. And I'm not talking about with the mass that they found in my humerus and the bone marrow here. I'm just talking about down here. So it's been a day. It's been a day, y'all. So by the time you guys see this video, because it's Tuesday night, it'll be Wednesday, of course, when I put this out. I will already be at the hospital getting my radiation, and that's about 6 hours, you guys. And I will be recording that, so that will be on my Instagram at the Lady Dawn SZ, and I will be putting that on my stories, I believe. And of course, I'm going to try to do a short here tomorrow also because I'm there for 6 hours. So that's, I got plenty of time to record until I start getting really sick from the radiation when they start that process. Because the first 3 hours, like amino acid, then they introduce the radiation. But, so I just came to update you guys. Yesterday, you guys, I was like, Lord, is today? Is it like, I don't know, a full moon outside? At like, what is it, 1 o'clock in the afternoon? Because everybody lost their mind yesterday, you guys. Remember how I had that Zometa infusion yesterday? So I went to the clinic of one so they can check me out. I had to give them my what is it, the note or something they gave me to have a dentist sign off to make sure that my teeth were all right and I can go ahead and get this infusion or whatever. So they did that, weighed me like they always do, make sure everything's kosher with my blood work and everything that I can go ahead and do that. So everything was fine. They sent me downstairs to the infusion room. And so when we got there, of course, they had to put an IV in because it's IV drugs, right? Y'all, when I tell you, I don't know what's wrong with these nurses. Not all nurses, because I actually, to be honest, I had some amazing, so far, amazing medical personnel, help me. I have an amazing team. But not one, but both the ladies could not put the IV in, couldn't find a vein, which I know I have a hard time. But if they would check my records, they would see that they have a hard time. But I think since I've been sick, about a year and a half since I got diagnosed back in November 17th, 2022, they've had to use an ultrasound maybe 3 times. That's just, or IV find or whatever they call it in you guys' hospital, where they help find veins so they can do IVs. I then had to do it 3 times. I usually have amazing nurses who could find it on the first try. There's been a couple of like a handful that 5 or 6 times on one arm, and I'm just like, yeah, we're done. We are so done. But for the most part, I've had nurses that can, find it pretty much. But these nurses, they couldn't find it. And so then my husband was like, well, did you all check her charts to see that she would need the ultrasound? Because that's what they usually, well, sometimes have to do. And they just looking at him stupid. And he was like, did none of y'all read her notes in her charts? Because you would have known this. Because they were saying that they didn't have one of those machines there. And we were just like, well, this is a cancer clinic. Like, why would, in the hospital, like literally, you can walk to the hospital from the cancer clinic. Literally walk, you guys, because maybe like 5 minutes, 10 minutes top if you're a slow walker. And they were like, "Well, we don't have those. Those are at the main hospital." So my husband was like, "Well, why don't you guys have it here?" And they're like, "Well, we just don't." So he said, "Is that policy or is that what?" And they're just looking at him, right? And they didn't know. So he didn't say nothing. So they brought the second nurse. You guys, I wish I could, I wish y'all could see, but you can't. Well, anyway, they stuck me 4 times here, then went to here, and it was hurting. And they were just that both of them was using spa. They hadn't even found a vein. They're just going all like this. And I'm just like about to cry because it was hurting. I didn't say anything. And they're like, "Well, are you all right?" I'm like, "Yes, just go ahead and do what you have to do. I just want them to find a vein just to get done." You know what I mean? And when they started on the other arm, and I just cried because the last time they tried to do my vein when I had to have a procedure done about a year ago, it was actually at the colonoscopy. And the lady came fine and she stuck me in my thumb here, y'all, and hit a nerve. When I tell you, I almost punched that nurse in her face. It was just a reaction, normal, because I'm not a violent person. You guys, not a violent person at all. And good Lord, it took every ounce of Holy Ghost that I have. First of all, not to cuss her out because I don't cuss, but the Lord was there with me, y'all. And so when she hit that nerve, it was over with. And I couldn't move, couldn't touch this right here for 2 months. 2 months could hardly move my hand, you guys. My right hand, the one that I write with, I'm right-handed. So I'm so leery. I said, no hands. And my sister-in-law, she's a RN, when she was an RN, now she's a physician assistant. She said, and the nurse at church, the RN at church said, "Oh, never let them do your hands." And I'm just like, "Oh, I already learned. No, that's not happening." So when my husband saw that when they were going, he was like, "Okay, that's enough. You guys need to get a machine here. Get the ultrasound machine." And they're like, "We don't have one." And then the nurse was trying to get mad at me, like, "Well, why? I don't understand why your veins. Did you drink?" I said, "Ma'am, I drink more water the day before and the day of, and coming up here, anytime that I have to do blood work, anytime that I know that I have to have a needle or anything, I do that because I know how it is hard to find my veins. So I'm trying to make it easier. So I overload water the day before, and the day of, I'm just drinking water the whole time. And even when I was there, you guys, I was doing water." And she was getting, "Well, your veins just won't cooperate." And she was getting mad. And part of me wanted to say, Lady, do you know what you're doing? Either one of you." I've been a nurse for 20 something years and I understand, but maybe, doing needles ain't your forte. Not everybody's good at it. And so my husband asked them, he said, "Well, let me speak to your boss." Dude, and dudettes, they were getting so mad. And my husband, okay, he was in the Marines for 11 years. Actually, he was a criminal investigator for the Marines. So he went total, like transformed to Marine mode. And so he didn't get rude or whatever. He is so professional, you guys. I was proud of my husband. I was so glad he said something because I didn't want to say nothing because I didn't want them to think that I was a problem because I'm not a problem. But you know how they always try to make the patient like we're the problem sometimes. And sometimes we are. Sometimes we are. But I'm not. So my husband, was the one who said, "No more. No more." So he went and talked to their boss. Y'all, he was gone 20 minutes. He got email address. He said he's right the head administrator and everything. He said he doesn't understand. You guys deal with cancer patient. I'm sure I'm not the only cancer patient that has a hard time with needle stick. Because the nurse is like, "Well, why don't you have a port?" And I'm like, "Because my oncologist does not think it's necessary at this time, and she's just worried about infection." I guess she's rating the pros and the cons, and right now there's more cons for her than pros. So I'm going with whatever she says. So 2 hours after being there and trying all this, they took about almost 45 minutes trying to find a vein. My arm, if I could show you, is so bruised and it's so hurt to touch, you guys. And I have to get the radiation tomorrow. And they got to put IVs in both arms. And I'm just like, "Oh God, I hope they can get something where they did not try to stick already." So, and then while that was going on, you guys, remember I was telling y'all what's going on with my right shoulder. So they were referring me to ortho. Well, the people for the ortho department called, and they were trying to refer me to the guy that I went to go see when I was getting that tumor removed out of my back. And Dr. Moore, do not like him. I thought he was arrogant. You know, and there's something, about him when I first, and I like all my doctors, you know what I mean? And so what I didn't understand about him, because when they were calling me, they were like, "Well, Dr. Moore, could see you, but he didn't feel comfortable because the last time you was here, you didn't go with what I said. The last time when I seen Dr. Moore was probably last year, you guys. Yeah, about a year ago. And I went there because I had a tumor on my back, okay? But when I saw him, he was talking about like tendonitis because I have a rotator cuff issue, but I wasn't there for that because it wasn't bothering me when I went to go see him. It was the tumor in my back. And he was like, well, let's do physical therapy. And I was like, why would you do physical therapy for a tumor? And it was really hurting. At this point, it was hurting. I couldn't sleep, couldn't do anything, you guys. So he said, well, then we can do, he said, well, you can get it. Okay, do surgery or do therapy? And I said, I would prefer the surgery, right? And so since I didn't go with what he wanted, he said, "Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to refer you somewhere else," which he did. I was fine with that. I didn't complain. To be honest, I didn't want him touching me anyway because I didn't like him. And so when he tried to refer me back to him this time, I told the guy because because he's reading his notes. He said, "Well, because you didn't, do what he suggested." I said, "If you read his notes," I said, "First of all, I went to him for a tumor, not for tendonitis, and that's what you're saying in his notes is saying." So I said, obviously he was confused or he got me mixed with somebody else because when I saw him a year ago, it wasn't for tendonitis, it was for a tumor. And technically, and when the surgeon in St. Louis removed it, he said that tumor was bigger and longer and closer to my lung cavity than the MRI I think it was MRI or CAT scan has showed. So it's a good thing that we took it out. And I haven't had any problems since, no pain or anything. That tumor was benign. Thank you, Jesus, because I have enough going on. And I told her, I said, can you just have me released? Because I don't want to be under somebody who I don't trust and don't want me as a patient, and I don't want to be their patient. And and he was trying to do physical therapy for a tumor. I'm like, what is he smoking? So of course today when I read my notes about it, they put down patient states she wants him to be released from his care to another doctor because something about I forgot what it was, but I was like, "Oh my God," I said, "They're trying to make me seem like I am the problem," when technically I was not the problem. Dr. Moore is the problem. I said, "Because he wrote in his note that I was there for one thing, but I was not there for that. It's weird. Like, girl, y'all, I don't know what's going on, y'all. Dude didn't do that. They was tripping." So now I'm waiting to see another doctor, because it still hurts or whatever, and they want to keep a lookout for the tumor on the bone over here and in the bone marrow, metastasizing. So to be honest, I don't even trust the man. Don't trust him, don't want to be bothered with him. So I'm just glad, maybe he is a good person, but I think maybe he might have got confused when I was there the first time, and that's why he was upset. Because to be honest, why would I want to have surgery if I could just have physical therapy if it was my tendonitis? But it wasn't. So that's why when the guy was reading the notes back to me, I was like, yeah, I don't know what that doc. I don't know. I don't know. You all need to go look at your records because I looked at my records, going back all of this stuff, and I see stuff in my records that I've never had, and I'm thinking, did they make a mistake? I know one time when I went to see my oncologist and she had somebody else there, her PA was there, and she was saying this, and I said, "Ma'am, that ain't me. Are you sure?" She's like, "Oh God, I'm so sorry. That was my last patient. I was, and I'm thinking, you all got to keep y'all patients straight. Because you're gonna be writing notes in for another patient that had nothing to do with that patient, and then it's hard for us to get that mess taken off of there. And that's what I'm trying to do now, get off what was put on there. That was even me. They were talking about having menstrual cycles and pain, and I'm like, I haven't had a menstrual cycle since 2006 because I had a hysterectomy. So I'm like, what are you talking about? Painful menstrual cycles? We don't have nothing to have one. So I'm just like, oh Lord, have mercy, y'all. But anyway, that's all I can. I'm just complaining here, y'all. Today I'm just venting. So that's all I'm gonna vent about. Tomorrow we'll just watch the stories, you guys. Because this has been way past longer than what I wanted to do because I'm over here mad, getting mad talking about it. Lord Jesus, help me. Anyway, y'all have a blessed day, a blessed evening, and I will see you guys tomorrow. I will see you all. Stay blessed, y'all.